Hello everyone, it's Nombee, also known as Nombee Zombie. Jeffrey cannot be with us today, as for he is in Kansas City. Going home. I'm going home to Missouri tomorrow. But, I decided to make a Lolita fashion video presentation how-to thing, because a lot of people have been asking me how to do Lolita, and I think this will be very helpful. Last time I went through the whole PowerPoint Prezi thing, and it ended up being 48 minutes. So wow, that's a long time. So I'm just going to do this in parts. And yeah, because that's a ridiculous amount of time. And it'll probably be about 4 videos. And I hope this helps a lot of people. So I'm going to start. We actually made this for this girl who goes to our school who wanted to do Lolita, and I think we scared her about how in-depth this was, because we just really like Lolita, and we jumped at the chance to explain it to someone, and we kind of went overboard. But I'm going to show you guys just an intro kind of thing in this one. So here we go. Lolita fashion is a culture in Japan, and it's a street fashion. It draws inspiration from Rococo and Victorian era clothing. And Lolita places a lot of emphasis on modesty, and in a full Lolita coordinate, most of the body is covered, as you can see from the diagram. Here's some just basic terminology. JSK stands for jumper skirt, and it's a shirt without sleeves or a collar. There's different kinds of jumper skirts, and there's halter JSKs and even JSKs without any straps at all, as for example, Angelic Pretty's Chest Chocolate. A petticoat is the fluffy thing that goes under your skirt, and OTK are over the knee socks. There are also under the knee socks and ankle socks and crew socks and stockings and tights, all leg wear. But OTK are the most common, I think. OP is a one piece, and it's a dress with sleeves, and they sometimes have collars, but not always. A salopette it's a pretty weird thing to explain, because it sounds kind of strange, but if you look it up, it's not really that weird. It's a top, and it has buttons that attach to shorts or a skirt, and I describe it as basically like a JSK plus an apron. And you can look up a salopette, they're not that weird. A cord is a coordination. People abbreviate cord a lot. And it's basically the whole outfit, like the shoes, the socks, the dress, the blouse, and everything. EGA is Elegant Gothic Lolita, and EGL is Elegant Gothic Aristocrat. And EGL you'll be hearing a lot, because the community on LiveJournal for Lolitas is called EGL. There's EGL, and there's EGL Com Sales, which is frequently visited by Lolitas. And I'll explain that in another video. The silhouette for Lolita, there are 3 main silhouettes. First is A-line, and it's generally found in classic Lolita. And A-line petticoats usually have 3 tiers in them. And then there's bell shape or cupcake, and it's generally found in suite. And bell shaped petticoats usually have 2 tiers. Bell shape and A-line can be found in any style, but these are just like what they tend to be in. Empire waist is an old school style that really doesn't require a petticoat, and that's when the waistline is up very high. It doesn't require a petticoat, but I think a petticoat looks best with every dress. And the general aesthetic of Lolita is Rococo and Victorian, like I said, but also could draw inspiration from 50s wear and French court styles, and there's just a lot of things that Lolita can be drawn from. Okay, petticoats. Petticoats is very important in Lolita, and I wouldn't leave the house in Lolita without a petticoat. As you can see the difference from the picture. Petticoats can get pretty pricey. I would never buy a brand petticoat. I never say never, but you know, it's pretty expensive, like $100-something for a petticoat. I think not. But petticoats can be pretty pricey because a lot of the time, if you buy a cheap one, they deflate, and you have to buy another one anyway, and then that one deflates because you don't want to buy an expensive one, and it's pretty much a cycle. And Classical Puppets apparently has really nice ones. My friend has a Classical Puppet petticoat, and she just loves it. I wish I would have had one. I have one from Fan Plus Friend, and it kind of deflated over time, even though it stayed fluffy for a long time. Do not buy bodyline petticoats. They're too short and not fluffy at all. So don't waste your money on that. These are petticoats that are no-nos. There's a square dancing petticoat, which just makes your dress look too awkward. It's not really the right length. It's not really the right shape. It's just not right. And then there's the too short ones. They can be used for layering, but eh. And then there's the tutu ones that are also too short. And these petticoats just aren't good, so you probably shouldn't waste your money on them. Though all of these petticoats layered together probably could make a pretty good cupcake shape. The rules. The rules for Lolita I put in quotations because rules were meant to be broken. And I break some of the rules sometimes. It's whatever. People shouldn't harass you for it. The skirt should end around the knee. An exception would be Classic Lolita. They kind of end. Sometimes they have dresses that are longer. Neckline shouldn't fall below under the arms, which means your boobs shouldn't be pretty much everywhere. Coordinations should be made of natural fabrics that are soft like cotton and linens. Wear a petticoat and bloomers, but neither should be visible under the skirt. You should have on bloomers. I don't know if you guys know what bloomers are, but they're underwear that protect your skin from the tulle of the petticoats, just in case that gets too irritating for your skin. A headdress should be worn basically to balance out your outfit. Blouses are a thing that should happen, unless it's like blazing outside and you just can't wear a blouse that day. But I think, for future reference anyway, halter JSKs look better without blouses than normal JSKs for some reason. If I'm not going to wear a blouse that day, I'm definitely going to wear a halter JSK. Which are, I don't know if you know what that is, but it's a JSK that the straps come together in the back, just like they tie together, instead of going to the back of the dress. Socks, stockings, or leg covering, so you should always have on leg wear. And generally shoes should have a short, chunky heel, no taller than 2 or 3 inches, and the heel shouldn't be like normal heels. Normal heels can work in Lolita sometimes on occasion, but usually they're not a good idea. Milanu is a site that is a scam. If you have already been scammed by Milanu, I am so sorry. And it is a site that takes stock photos from other websites and brands, and they use them as their own, and then they make you a replica of the dress they stole the stock photo from, and it is never that good. How they scam you is they have this very nice dress that's, of course, it's nice, it's from a very high-ranking brand, but usually people just starting out in Lolita don't know about brands and everything, so they just think, oh wow, this dress looks amazing, and it's only like $50. That's like a steal. I'm gonna get it, but it's not a good idea for Milanu. They also sell cosplay and wedding dresses, so if any of your friends are talking about Milanu, warn them away. Styles. After the styles, I'm gonna be stopping the video because this is it gets to be about like 10 minutes, I guess. But the 3 most popular styles in Lolita include Gothic Lolita. And Gothic Lolita is the mother of all Lolita styles. All Lolita styles used to be called Goth Loli in the beginning. If you read some old articles or old books, they refer to Lolita as goth loli. It was originally worn by visual kei concert goers in the 80s, and that's how it started. Gothic Lolita has deep colors, which doesn't necessarily mean black. It can also be an all-white coordination, or it could also be red or purple or something, or dark blue. Moitié, which is a popular Gothic brand, does a lot of blue and black. There's velvets and religious symbols like crosses, and there's roses and keys and funeral motifs. There's a lot of, all the prints are in very Gothic names like Vampire, Requiem, and things along those lines. Classic Lolita has a heavy influence from Victorian era clothing and is one of the most mature styles, and they have a lot of earth tones and floral prints, antique jewelry, vintage hats. It's all very fancy. Classic Lolita is. Sweet Lolita is also referred as Ama Lolita and Kote Lolita, though people don't usually call it that anymore. Pastel fabrics and sweet food prints. This is where OTT goes a little crazy. There's a lot of OTT Sweet Lolita, which is over the top. I don't know if I've explained that in the terminology, I don't remember. But you can put cupcakes on your head, and there's a lot of jewelry, and there's a lot of things that can be over the top about Sweet Lolita. And though there is also over the top classic and Gothic, I love to see those. But over the top Sweet Lolita is very fun. I do it often. Other styles of Lolita are Hime, which is Princess Lolita, and that refers to kind of a very specific cut of a dress. If you want to see what kind of Hime Lolita, Angelic Pretty has a new dress coming out called Wonder Queen, I think, and the OP cut is very Hime. Punk Lolita, Pirate Sailor Wa, which is Japanese, sorry. Chi is Chinese Lolita, and Kuro, which is black, Shiro, which is white, Guro, which stands for grotesque, and that is basically like kind of white dress, blood splatter kind of thing. Then there's Arrow, which stands for erotic, and that is the second row illustration, the third one over with the blue hair and shorter skirt. It's kind of what it looks like. Deco, which is OTT. Steampunk, cyber, like cybergoth, and country, which is kind of like Sweet but with more gingham and straw hats, and it's very adorable. And I'm gonna stop the video here because it gets a little lengthy after this, but I hope I make a new video soon. Please stay tuned, and I hope this turns out good because I've never really made videos before, and hopefully we can get Jeffrey back with me to do more videos, but he'll actually be back with me in January, which is such a long time. I'll probably finish making the tutorial videos by then, and we can start talking about other things. But if you have any more questions, just comment, and yeah.